So this is the hat that we're going to be decorating. I have already made it. It is based off of Angela Clayton's Edwardian hat tutorial. Yeah, that's all I gotta say for this. I don't like how tall this is, so I'm gonna try to anyway, I don't know what I'm doing. We're just flailing at this point. But it's what all of you voted on, so it's what you're getting. I'd much rather prefer to not do this on camera, but it's my fault for giving you guys the option, right? I already made this band, so it's just a 2-inch band, and then it has 1/2-inch bias tape on either side. It needs to get pressed. Maybe I'll pull out my stuff and do that real quick. Let's see. Oh, where is everything? It's all already out, because I don't put things away anymore, apparently. Okay. Okay. That's heating up. You guys are like a little bit farther away from you than normal, so I might not be catching as many comments. I might try to adjust you guys so I can like reach you. Yeah. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. The zigzag fabric. What do you mean by the zigzag fabric? You mean this? The band? Or are you talking about how I made like construction on the hat? So if you're asking about the band, then it's 2 inches. I've flatlined it with a piece of canvas, and then I've put bias tape on the edges to finish them, and also just give it a little bit of like texture and stuff. I'm gonna iron it down once my iron heats up, which will be a minute. So, oh, the zigzag in the background, that is my blanket that I carry around like a 2-year-old. So that's what that is. I forgot that was there. I usually try to clean up my backgrounds. So that is not a project. That is a blanket that I carry everywhere with me. It is over top of my fur-lined coat, so I don't have a making a video of that, but if you go to my Instagram, it is currently all photos of my dress and coat, and then my husband's matching outfit. So that's what all that is. And then this was the button up that we were going to fit, but not enough people voted for that, so that's not an option this week. So it's not what we're doing this week. Alright, I'm just giving this band a quick press because I want it to be nice and flat against the hat, and the bias tape is kind of bubbly, so. I think I'm gonna give you guys a couple options on what to do next week, but like fitting the button up is definitely an option for that. So alright, just so you guys can see, this is what it looks like with the band on it. So I just need to like secure the band in the back here. Make sure that it's like snug around the crown. Where's all my stuff? Where'd I put it all? I have like this huge pile of flowers. So like everything is on top of all the flowers. Also to address, I don't know if you guys have heard yet or not, we have had howling wind all day. There were tornado warnings in my area yesterday, and some people had sirens go off last night. We are fine as far as I know. My local area is fine. But like we still have wind left over from all of that. So if you hear the wind in the background, that's what it is. So I missed some comments. Yeah, so I am going to be making a navy blue walking suit. If you guys saw the skirt I was wearing, the navy blue skirt that I was wearing either in last week's live or the one before that, that's going to be the skirt for my blue walking skirt. I'm currently doing a wearable mock-up for the vest pattern, and I'm still having panic attacks about the jacket, so that might come later. But I wanted a hat that would match both of the walking suits, so that's how I got the colors for this hat. So yeah, I really like them. As I keep building out my wardrobe, it tends to be shifting more towards like jewel tones and pastels. So, like, totally happy with that. So. Alright, I can't promise this will be like a super exciting live. You guys are pretty much just going to be watching me work and struggle and pretend I know what I'm doing, which happens a lot, but that's okay. And I will keep looking at the screen because I really don't want to miss comments, because what else would we do if we don't chat with each other today? Also, like, side note, you guys are the entire reason how come I got dressed today. I texted my mom earlier and asked if I needed to put on pants for this live call, and she suggested a nice top, and I decided if I was going to put on a nice shirt, I might as well put on pants. So thanks for helping me get dressed today, guys. Alright, if I pin this down, it'll probably stay better so I can sew it. Yes, hooray for pants. I have been wearing my walking skirts like non-stop since I made them. So like wearing pants today has been a nice change. My anxiety about the, what's it called? The jackets I want to make for my walking suits comes from the fact that I am delving into a completely new area. Like a completely new era, that's what I meant, not area. A completely new era, and I am completely unfamiliar with the patterns as well as like the construction methods. Like if you want me to make something from like roughly medieval Renaissance, totally on board with that. Done that a million times, been doing that for about 10 years now. It's not something that daunts me anymore. It used to. Well, okay, so let's talk about anxiety in general, honestly. I used to be pretty fearless with my sewing, and it was great because I did a lot of things and I came up with a lot of things, and they weren't always the best constructed, but I was always happy with them. And so this is like pros and cons of my tailoring apprenticeship. my tailoring apprenticeship was really hard. I didn't get a lot of encouragement. In fact, I got a lot of the opposite. Um, my job was continuously threatened every time I made a mistake, even though I was learning. And it led to like a lot of anxiety about sewing and like perfectionism issues within my sewing. Um, and so I finished up my apprenticeship a year ago, I think, is about when I left. But like that's something that kind of just like sticks with you. I call it the Russian voice in my head because my manager during my apprenticeship was Russian, which I feel like explains a lot of things, but it's also like I feel like when you take on an apprentice, you have to allow for losses. And you have to be able to encourage growth. Like, otherwise, why would they be excited and want to work for you later? Um, so, yes, it's bad teaching, honestly. But I was there for 2 years. Like, there's a whole story about why I think she was a bad teacher. But that does not pertain to anything I'm doing now, so it doesn't really matter. The fact is, like, that's what I dealt with for 2 years, and I went from, like, sewing a dress a week before my apprenticeship, or, like, working on stitch and vent time. Yeah. I haven't really ever vented about my apprenticeship, like, actually the things that happened. I would vent about to my friends about, like, stuff that happened at work that day, but not like the actual experience. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like I would go from like when I first started my apprenticeship, I was really excited because like that's not an opportunity to like it's not an opportunity that comes around very often. So I was super excited. It was attached to a department store, so we were encouraged to dress fashionably. I'm not a very fashionable person, especially at that time. I was still wearing a lot of the same clothes I was wearing in high school, um, and I had basically the same style that I did in high school. I know last week I talked a lot about like you need to feel comfortable and confident in your clothing, and I didn't. That's not something that I really felt until I started like seriously making my own clothes. So I got this apprenticeship and I was super excited, and I went from like learning all day in the shop to going home and like not really applying what I learned because not a lot of like this is the technical way to hem suit pants with all the fancy machinery is really applicable when you're at home with your home sewing machine. Um, but I could definitely see a difference in the quality of my work the longer that I worked there. But also, the longer that I worked there, the less motivated I was to work on stuff at home because not because I had the idea of like, oh, well, I've just been doing this every day, so now, like all day, so now I'm just like tired of sewing. It was really just because I was like not motivated anymore. Um, because I would, this was the other thing that was like absolutely stupid. I would come into work and if I was wearing something new, the first thing my manager would ask me was, "Oh, did you make this?" And if I said yes, she would scene check my clothing. And if I said no, then she would just kind of be like, "Why not?" So it was just kind of this like, it was very much a toxic work environment. And like I experimented a little bit with fashion while I was there. The most interesting thing to me is I would take. I'm not gonna tell you where I did my apprenticeship. Sorry. The company as a whole that I worked for was fantastic. The other managers and departments that I worked with, were fantastic. The other employees I worked with were fantastic. It literally was just my single manager making a bad experience. So I'm not going to tell you guys where I did my apprenticeship because I fully approve of the company that I worked for, and I don't think that a single person should influence anyone else's like opinion of the company that I worked for when I was doing my apprenticeship. So I'm not gonna tell you guys that. I just missed a comment. So yeah, it really was just like my single manager created the Russian voice in my head, and yeah, yes, one bad apple in the bunch. Like the rest of my experience was fantastic. When I had issues and I had to talk to the store manager, like everything was handled so professionally, and it was really honestly a great experience. When our regional manager would come in, she was fantastic. Literally just one bad apple in the bunch. So I mean, it is what it is. My quality of work improved like tenfold within the first 6 months. And like my like desire to create things outside of work kind of dwindled because of the stress I was dealing with at work. But since leaving, I have had nothing but a creative boom. So it's been interesting. But yeah, what happened? Oh, what I was saying, my manager had an interesting sense of style. I would bring in clothes that I had made for work and I would wear them, and she would just kind of like side eye and judge me. This was when I was going through my like 1950s phase. So a lot of things had like a vintage flair to them. And so like she was just kind of side eye and judge me. And then I would bring in like a doublet or a historical dress to work on during my lunch break, like in the break room, just hand sewing on buttons. And she would come up and seam check those. And she would think that they were the most fantastic things ever. Like so forward thinking and like fashionable. And she had never seen things like this before. And I'm like, hun, have you never looked at a Renaissance painting? Anyway. Very much was encouraged to wear doublets to work, which was ridiculous. I mean, I get the whole history bounding aspect of it. It definitely would have been fun, but we were encouraged to have a professional attire. To me, wearing a doublet to work is not professional. So yeah. Yeah. But that was my tailoring experience. So every once in a while I'll catch myself to where like I have that Russian voice in my head of like, no, this isn't good enough. Oh no, this is unacceptable. Oh no, there are holes. And I have to remind myself that like one person's opinion of me and my work cannot dictate what I do. I mean, it cannot dictate the entire course of my life. So it's something I've been working on and something I've been working through. But it's like everything, it's a process. So I don't know when that Russian voice will go away. It's definitely a lot less frequent. But I do think that that experience has led a lot to me having anxiety in general with my sewing. It's made me like I've started to want to produce things in a higher quality. So making things for the sake of making things and just like throwing fabric at my sewing machine like I used to do, excuse me, it just isn't something that appeals to me anymore. So yeah, that's how come I'm anxious. That was a really long story, but like that's how come I'm anxious to start on these jackets. Yeah, I'm gonna tilt you guys because I'm gonna start playing with flowers. Ideally, I want to put like a giant bow on the back, but I have like this satin stuff, which I'm making the green walking suit out of, that I kind of want the bow on the back to be made out of. I don't know how much fabric I need for these walking suits, so I don't want to like pull off fabric to make a bow, which I might need for like a cuff or something. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, we could just do this like, just shove the flowers in the brim. Yeah. Anyway, long, like, short story. I'm anxious about these jackets because I want to produce a higher quality of work, and I really want to understand the tailoring techniques that go into them. And like, I have that Russian voice in my head that's telling me that like I'm not good enough and I can't like do this accurately enough. Anyway, that's why I'm anxious. So the bow that I want to make is like huge. I want it to like cover the entire backside of this. So it's gonna take at least a quarter of a yard, and a quarter of a yard is like a waistband or a pair of cuffs or like a collar. And so I don't want to do that until I know what I can use. So I was thinking of just like tacking flowers on, because I do want like I do want all of the decorations on this to be removable, because at some point I'm gonna look at this one day and go, hey, this looks stupid, why did I do this? And I will want to remake the hat, and if I have hot glue all over it, I won't be able to do that. So that's kind of my thought behind this. So I do plan on making everything detachable. Just gotta figure out how I like want it all to go on. I don't know. This is the first hat I have made. No, it's not. That's a lie. I made this hat, this pillbox hat, which I have never had the courage to actually wear, but I have a pillbox hat that matches, if you guys remember my live from last week, the red dress out of upholstery fabric. That's what this hat's made out of, was the leftovers of that. So this is the second hat that I've made. So I don't have an answer for that. I haven't made enough to make a pattern. Tell you what my trend is. So yeah, I know it's really cute, but I feel like I need like the right hairstyle to go with it, and I never figured out the hairstyle that needed to go with the hat. So like that's that. Anyway. Yeah, it totally makes sense to do the hats last. I'm also not using the actual material. I'm using the correct colors, but not the correct, like, not the material. So I'm trying to decide, like, do I want all of the flowers on one side? Do I want the flowers on both sides? Do I kind of just want to throw flowers around? I don't know what I want to do. So I mean, I feel like if I just have it like on two sides, it'll be like Princess Leia buns and look ridiculous. But if I have it all on one side, then it's asymmetrical, which isn't the end of the world. But I feel like I need bigger flowers, and I don't have them. Okay, you guys are saying put flowers everywhere. I mean, I could cut these apart more. I don't know. That's the other thing. I'm just like, do I make this as symmetrical as possible, or like how much do I care? How much should I care about what this hat looks like? I mean, we could like do it symmetrical. Only I'd want the pink to be, and then the white. Man, I just need to like channel my inner Anna Green Gables and just like throw flowers at it and stop thinking. Need to have the courage to like go to school with all sorts of flowers and ribbons in my hair because I am just that extra. I used to be that extra. Oh, that's a story. So yeah, I like the idea of putting bigger ones in the back. I mean, if I left space for them, I just don't have any, and I'm not leaving my house to go and get some right now. Because what a silly reason to leave your house. I mean, yeah, and then if I had a big bow, maybe? I feel like I need to make this bow. Oh, I have some linen stuff I could make the bow out of. Okay, so if I put that there and did more yellows here, I have some greenery. Oh my gosh, this wind is killing me, guys. It's not quite like set your teeth on edge wind, but it's pretty close. I mean, okay. Gotta see how it looks on my head. Okay, I think I like the look of that. I think. Again, I'm making this all removable so that way in like a year when I look at it and think it looks stupid, I can fix it. So shouldn't worry too much about it. It's not like I'm gonna lose the entire thing. Okay. Maybe I'll just make the bow. Yeah. I feel like the flowers kind of just like offset the crown of it. Okay. Whew. I feel like I don't think I like the gap in the front though. But like that's, oh, maybe they need to go this way. What if I just scooted everything forward? more than just, ugh. I don't like how it's like super symmetrical. Okay. Oops, dropped some flowers. What was the question? Yeah, well, okay. So I have some more of the linen that I made the brim out of band. So let's just make a bow, because I feel like that's needed. And who knows, I could really like it. I do not have any books for this time period. All of my knowledge is currently coming from Pinterest. So, I know, Pinterest. Love-hate relationship. Okay, that's the other thing. How big do I want this thing to be? The answer, huge. I want it to be huge. Okay. Like, yes. Yes. I wanted that size. I want it ridiculous. Ooh, why did that just make me giddy? Okay. Actually, if I make it... Ooh. Okay, let's just make the bow, guys. Wait, it needs to be here. And then we'll go this way and this way. Do I have enough of this? Probably not. Okay. But if I just run it through my machine, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. I'm gonna dump all the flowers. We'll come back to those. We'll get this out of the way. Okay. Let's thread this. All right, my machine is super loud. It needs to get serviced and I'm just not taking care of it. So I'm apologizing right now. Oh, I'm gonna need to plug my iron back in. Okay. Good news is linen typically presses really well. That's what this is. So Um, the answer to if I make a lot of my own clothes, the answer is yes. The live that I did last week shows, I showed off all of my handmade wardrobe. I do have a goal to have a completely handmade wardrobe. So in the next year or so, that'll become a reality. But on an average day, I wear mostly handmade pieces. Today I'm not, because I'm wearing a pair of jeans. Well, I made my top, but I'm wearing a pair of jeans too. Alrighty. Okay, I missed a couple comments. Yes, I am planning on just tacking down the flowers. So alright, no, I still need to sew the bow together. That can't come off my head yet. Okay. I think I'm gonna do 2 lines of running stitches to secure either side down. That way when I gather it, it'll gather better, I'm hoping. I guess we'll see. Is that our mailman? Our mailman came early. Which, not really surprised. I'm not really expecting a lot of mail to be going through the system right now. Yes, I completely intend to be making some more SCA related garb videos. My biggest hang up with that is I don't like filming the commissions I get, which I feel like is understandable. And I currently have a wardrobe that I am very happy with and don't feel like anything needs to be added to. So I have come up with a plan on how to do more garb videos without like giving myself more clothes than my closet can handle. So I will be doing some more of those. They will just be done on a smaller scale and probably like spread out. They're not going to be more common. I mean, yeah, they'll just be mixed in with everything else. I'm kind of in the like, oh, I just want to try everything phase right now because with this whole costume thing, I feel like I've just had the world open to me. It used to be that like I didn't make a costume or garb unless I had a reason to, and now I'm just like, well, why can't I make it? I still am being very practical. I'm not spending a lot of money on fabric and things. And I'm not going to be making huge ball gowns that will take up lots of room in the closet and never get worn. But yes, I do intend on making more SCA related stuff. So. Hey, I have a friend that was in Glen Albin for a while. I think he was in school. That would make sense. I don't really know where Glen Albin is though, so can't answer that for sure. Yes, on the being afraid to start sewing thing, go to the thrift store, find the nicest looking sheets you can, make clothing out of that until you feel comfortable, and then make more clothing out of it just because it's fun and cheap, and why not get a whole stock of stuff? And then when you feel comfortable and feel like investing, graduate onto other fabric. Like graduate to broadcloth, and then graduate to nicer broadcloth, and then graduate to linen and wool and silk and all those fun fabrics. But yeah, the best advice I can give is just to do the thing. And I realize that if you're super anxious about it, like that is the worst answer ever. But honestly, like you're not going to get over your anxiety or your fear until you just do it. Need a pin. And as soon as you get over that anxiety or that fear of like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid to make a tea tunic, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, tea tunics are actually not that hard, make like 3 more of them just to like build yourself up, and then try making a potpourri or a kirtle or something else. Um, like, and then you can get to the projects, and then like every project, you can be like, I'm gonna learn this new thing. I'll learn that new thing. And then soon, if you keep practicing, you'll feel comfortable. I mean, sewing, just like everything else, is dictated by how much you practice. Like, you're not gonna become comfortable playing the piano in front of people if it's your first time ever playing a major scale. You're not going to be comfortable sewing until you just start practicing. So if you are afraid of the machine, then hand sew. Depending on what machine you have, you can actually set the speed so it goes really slow. Depending on what how sensitive your foot pedal is, you can actually just adjust how fast your foot pedal goes. So that way it just goes really slow. Yeah. Anyway, that's my learn to sew advice, which is terrible advice if you're super anxious about things, but it's literally the only advice. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Ignore the Russian voice in your head. Do the thing. Which is what I need to do and pattern out these jackets I want to make. All right. Oh, wait, it's lopsided. Right? Ah! Does that look more even? Okay. Where's the back of this thing? So I feel like I need to tack the bow on to the brim, like right there. Right? Yeah, I think that's what I need. Okay. Where'd my needle go? Right here. Okay, I really like this bow. Thank you to whoever suggested that I just make a bow. that's the bow. Can you like, you can see it from the front. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. Okay, now I need to start looking at the flowers again. We are getting close to that 1 hour mark. Are you guys interested in just like hanging out longer, or should I cut this off at an hour? All right, everything. Like threads in my flowers like all over. So wait, I had another pink flower. Ah, balloon flowers. Am I? Yes. Ugh. So, yeah. This is turning out super cute. Ah, it's looking so cute. All right, I have like 2 more yellows to stick in. Might as well just stick one there, one there. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Do I like how it looks on my head? That is the question. Yeah, I think I do. Okay, so now it's time to tack it all down. Which do I still have? Put my needle on top of my hat and then put my hat on top of my head. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'll just keep hanging out with you guys because I'm really motivated to finish this hat. If some of you need to hop on or off, then totally understand. You guys can catch the replay. But yeah, I'll just keep this going while I tack on all of these glorious flowers. So, oh, this makes me so excited to get these walking suits done. Which, when I'm done with this, I'll put on my, I'll show you guys my vest mock-up, my wearable mock-up for my vest. So, because I'm not doing a good job about filming that process, which is terrible. I don't know the best way to sew these on. If I hot glued them all to a ribbon and then tacked the ribbon on, that would work, right? Yeah. Where's my ribbon stash? Or I could just tack them all down to a ribbon. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. Because I have a tiny ribbon I can use. This wind is driving me crazy. Can you guys hear it? Ah! Don't mind me, I'm just pulling my flowers apart. that looks right. All right, I feel like this part's going to be incredibly boring, so I've changed my mind. I'm going to end this here. I will post finished pictures of the hat for you guys over on Instagram when I'm done. So I will see you guys all next week. I will post a poll on what we can talk about or do later when I think of options. So stay safe, everyone. Make sure to drink your water and take your pills, and I will see you guys later. Bye.